Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are on the test server once more time looking at the Iron Twins Fortress, and we're building this double Demitha team to take it down. So it's yet another Unkillable squad, another variation with different champions that hopefully give you guys more options as far as how to build teams to be victorious at the highest stages of the Iron Fortress. I mean, we want to do as much damage as possible. We want to win as often as possible so we can get those rewards, right? And so this is just another option for that. This is probably the last Unkillable team I'm actually going to be able to theorycraft and test before the test server ends. So, you know, when this comes out, I'm sure it won't be right away, but when this does come out, this is, you know, there might be more that have arisen, have been discovered and whatnot, but this is the last one I'm going to be actually able to test on the test server itself. So, you know, hopefully this will be enough to get everybody through for at least a little while till we get more access again or more time to craft, create, and experiment. But anyway, I'm really excited about this team. I think it's going to be really good for a lot of you out there. It is full auto. The speeds are generally pretty attainable all the way across the board. If you're running a double Demitha team, you could probably use one of those Demithas for this comp, which is pretty cool. And so this is, I think, going to be a really good addition to our repertoire of possibilities. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be going, what's the gear, what's the speeds? I'm going to show all of that at the end, like I've been doing with these videos. First, we're going to talk about how it's built. Then we're going to go ahead and do the run so we can see how it works, and I can talk you through the mechanics of it. And then after that, we'll look at the champions. I really appreciate you coming by to watch this video, and if you enjoy it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And of course, if you enjoyed today's music, we have that Soundstripe link down below in the pinned comment description of this video, along with my code Deadwood Jedi to save yourself 15%. And of course, if you're looking for account work, you can find that on my website, deadwoodjedi.com. So this is the team that we have. We're going to go ahead and start off by talking about Geomancer here. Obviously a great damage dealer, especially for the Iron Twin Fortress, reflecting that damage. But of course, you know, we're using block damage in this team, so he's not going to be as effective as he would be otherwise. Still really, really good. So definitely somebody I would recommend bringing in. We also have Kurzad Deepheart. Now this needs to be the, you know, faster than your 2 DPS champions, but you know, he's going to be really good for us. Basically, he's key because he lands at decreased speed, pretty much guaranteed on that A1 skill. That's really what we need. We need to make sure that we keep decreased speed on this boss for the entirety of the fight. And that's going to be a real issue when the boss cleanses the debuffs off himself. We need to reapply that decreased speed as soon as possible. Kurzad is ideal for that. Can you use somebody else? Absolutely, but I cannot guarantee the consistency of this comp like I can with this. After that, we're also going to be bringing in a Cult Brawler who's just an amazing poisoner. Been using him a lot because he's so good at this. And then we have both of the Demithas. Now, the 2 Demithas are going at very different speeds, right? We have a slow one and a fast one. The slow one is slower than the boss, under 250 speed. And we're going to be able to set it for full auto. As you can see, we prioritize the A2 and then go into the A3 skill. Obviously, fully booked, so we have the cooldowns done. And this is going to allow us to go full auto on this and stay unkillable from the very get-go. The other Demitha is going much faster, well over 260 speed. I think it's 264 is the minimum speed you can really run this with. And we're prioritizing in reverse. We're starting with the A3 and then doing the A2 after that. And if we follow these steps, we can do it full auto, which I think is going to be great. So we're going to jump in here and talk about the run as we go through. And hopefully, yeah, you guys will see the beauty of this team. So as we jump in here, you'll see first Demitha puts the block damage on us. Obviously, we're giving the boss a Terminator boost, but it doesn't matter because we're going to take a turn anyway. Kurzad immediately puts up that decreased speed, and now all of a sudden, we're able to put up our buffs without having to worry about the boss. And then the second Demitha gives us block damage again. So we're going to stay unkillable. Basically, how this team works, the 2 Demithas are going on 3-2 ratios. One Demitha is taking 2 turns, and the other one's taking a single turn, and then they're flip-flopping after that. So right here, you see Kurzad goes first every time, making sure we keep decreased speed on, and then one Demitha goes, right? The 2 DPS goes, the other Demitha goes, and then the last Demitha puts up the block damage. And that's basically how this goes all the way through. Now, one of the things to remember, when the boss cleanses that decreased speed, that first tick, he's going at his normal 250 speed, right? Not the reduced speed of 30% slower. So it's very important to get the timing and the speeds right, because we need Kurzad, like he did right there, to immediately go after the boss goes from cleansing and reapply that decreased speed so that we can stay in sync. And there we go. We're going to expand everything, and then block damage comes up again. This is also why it's really important that the Demythas are at the speeds they're at, to make sure that they can catch up enough, even with the boss getting a little bit extra speed there, because the numbers are pretty close on this, right? And so this is the way it works. Now, it's obviously not a super fast run. Like I said, we have block damage on our champion, so Geomancer's efficacy is a lot lower. We're basically just relying on the Giant Slayer procs from his HP burn and his passive. But at the same time, you can also see we've got poisons up there, we've got HP burn, and we're still getting those reflex. Now, I want to say this team's 100% guaranteed, but it's not. And the biggest reason why is twofold. One, I guess threefold would be a better way of phrasing it. First, Kurzad might not land that decreased speed. If that ever happens, that's bad, right? We would take the chance of that is astronomically low, but if, you know, assuming we have the right accuracy, which I do, but if it happens, that's obviously going to cause a problem for us. The only other thing, we can cut and bring it back in. The only other thing that could really potentially mess this up is if we do too much damage along the way and get the boss to interrupt us and take a turn before we reapply the block damage skill. If that happens, we're going to be very vulnerable, and we'll be out of sync and out of tune, and we won't be able to fall back into it. So those are the two things that are really problematic for us. And I don't think there's anything else. I think those are basically it. Those are the two biggest issues we have to watch out for. Obviously, the normal clan boss rule to apply, right? No masteries that provide extra turn meter or reset cooldowns, for especially for the Demythas, right? They need to be completely static as far as them using their skills. But otherwise, it should be pretty straightforward, right? There's not a lot of complexity to this. We just need to make sure that we're doing damage at the right times and blocking our damage when it's appropriate. Basically, you build the speed, you build the accuracy, you should have a successful full auto team. And there we go. Not super fast, right? But still under 5 minutes, and it's full auto, which is kind of the best part. So there you go. You know, we don't need any legendaries. Just give me a rare champion and a few epics, and we're good to go. Obviously, you do have to have 2 Demythas, but, you know, for a lot of people, that's very attainable. All right, let's take a look at the champions here, starting with Demytha. And we'll start off with the fast Demytha here. She's obviously an incredible champion, right? Now, I do want to warn you guys, as far as the speeds go here, I have general ranges for you. But as far as getting specific ranges and testing them all out, I haven't had nearly the time to be able to do that. I'm probably not going to be able to do that, truthfully. So, you know, there is going to be a little trial and error here, but I'm pretty confident, I would say very confident, that these speed ranges I'm giving you should work for your teams. Now, the fast Demytha, we need somewhere between 264 speed and 285 speed, right? If you go any faster than that, if you go any slower than that, there's a very good likelihood that this team will fail. So you need to really stay within that. This one obviously is going at 268 speed. Again, we're not worried about masteries. We're not worried about damage here. Those are things we actually don't need at all. All we're trying to do, especially with the Demythas, is just build enough speed. That's it. This team is fully unkillable from the get-go, so I don't need to put any protection or any resistance or anything on them at all. All I need to do is get them to speed. And of course, then we have our second Demytha here with the same caveats. We don't need any damage. We don't want any damage. We don't need survivability. We just need the speed. And we have this Demytha going at 248. Now, the range for this is much tighter. You need to be between 247 speed and 249 speed. Essentially slower than the boss and above 246 speed. If you can do that, you'll be in really good shape here. And then we come to the star of the show. I'm talking about Kurzad Deepheart. Phenomenal for this boss, honestly. Just a real nice find here. And we have Kurzad going at 194 speed. Now, this is right in the sweet spot for this speed range. We basically want to be between 186 and 196 speed. If we go any slower, that's definitely going to be a problem. If we go any faster, that also will be a problem, as we'll be going too fast at that point. Outside of that, all we're trying to maximize here is the accuracy, because we need that decreased speed of land. Does need 100% crit rate. That is something you'll have to build in. In fact, you might want to build over that, but that's what we're going to need. 100% crit rate as well as plenty of accuracy. Outside of that, we should be good. And then we come across the Geomancer, our main damage dealer here. Absolutely phenomenal for this boss. Pretty much phenomenal anywhere. Going at 185 speed, and that's a good spot. We have 2 DPS slots. We got Geomancer, and we also have a Cult Brawler. The two of them, they need to be between 179 and 185 speed. Any slower is bad, any faster is bad. Definitely want to have it in that range there, right? And of course, we're still looking no damage, but accuracy. That's really what we're looking for. And then very last, we have a Cult Brawler here. Again, just really focus on the accuracy. And we've got a Cult Brawler at 181 speed, yes. So we need a Cult Brawler and Geomancer between 179 and 185 speed. I would really aim for the middle of that. It's just a safer spot to get to. When you get to the edges, you know, weird things like speed sets can maybe throw you off. So I would prefer to stay right around that 181, 182 mark, and you're going to be in good shape. So that's the team. I think it's a really easy, very efficient style team. Now, obviously, the decreased speed is an issue, but if you have Kurzad, all of a sudden it's no longer one, right? I think I would really want to rely on him. I know there's champions like Lord Champfort or Tomb Lord that are very good at putting decreased speed on. I just don't really trust them for this particular comp. I really would love to use Kurzad. I know it works with him, and I would stick with them if it were up to me. Obviously, the 2 Demythas are great in this, you know, and maybe not everybody has them, but again, this is just more options for you folks. If you are lucky enough to have some unkillable champions, hopefully this gives you a way to take down stage 15 if you're struggling there, right? You know, Geomancer's great, Cult Brawler's great, but yeah, in general, this is another Iron Twins Fortress team that I think is very effective for people. So personally, this is one team I would recommend using. The a Tower Demytha combination team is one I would recommend using, but I like those a lot because primarily they're full auto, and that makes it a lot easier to play with. You know, especially when you're farming. You can see we have these multi-battles here. If I'm going through my 6 or 12 keys every day, I would prefer just to do multi-battle and not worry about it. One of the reasons why Paragon is such a good option for people. But this is a faster one. It's a faster option, more efficient option, and really might benefit for a lot of you guys. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this and watching all these videos that I do. If you like them, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. It's one, the best way to support my channel if you like my content, and 2, if you like my content, then you don't miss it when it comes out. So recommend you do both those things, but till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.